Max stormed out of the house in a huff. Officers patrolling after receiving the report spotted him. But Max, seeing their skin color, panicked and bolted. The police tried to calmly call out to him, but their approach only pushed him to the edge.
No, Max! Answer us, please! Can you hear me?
The raging torrent had already swept Max away. The officers could only desperately call for backup. Soon firefighters arrived at the scene. The captain stared at the current, frantically calculating. He grabbed a sewer map and slapped his thigh. Tear up every sewer along the route. Sure enough, Max's handprints were discovered on the inner wall of a dark pipe. The entire rescue team closed in, chasing along the manhole covers. Just as Maya prepared to descend, her gear malfunctioned. Her oxygen mask became a useless accessory. As the team turned to swap equipment, faint cries for help echoed from the sewer. In that instant, Andy plunged in. Amidst the murky vortex, he brushed past the boy only to be tossed like laundry in a washing machine. This domino effect of rescue failures nearly shattered the team's resolve.
It just cost us time.
I needed to try.
No, actually, you needed to step aside and let me try. Because now we may have lost him.
Meanwhile, at command center, teammates frantically studied the map. They finally pinpointed the final access point, a manhole. When they arrived at the site, they collectively gasped. The opening was barely large enough for a cat to squeeze through. To make matters worse,
Do not dig! Do not dig! You are standing above a gas line. You hit that wrong and the whole city block could blow up.
What the hell are we gonna do now?
firefighters were at their wits' end. Suddenly, one team member had a flash of inspiration. Why not let Max climb up himself? Maya instantly understood and tossed a life-saving ring. Max clung to rusted rebar like a koala, shivering uncontrollably. No matter how Andy shouted, he dared not let go. His father, arriving just in time, tearfully urged, "Mama's waiting for your final goodbye." Fueled by his longing for his mother, Max summoned superhuman strength, fighting against the torrent to grab the lifesaver. As father and son embraced tightly at the well opening, even the pigeons by the roadside seemed to applaud them. Andy watched the scene, finally swallowing the lump in his throat. The fire department received an alert about a mother and daughter trapped in a basement. An 8-person strike team infiltrated the burning building like special forces. Upon entering the basement, the captain immediately sensed trouble. Flames were spreading at a terrifying speed. Suddenly, Kelly spotted a man pinned under debris behind a pile of chemical reagents. As she and her teammates fought desperately to rescue him, Lisa found the shivering mother and daughter on the other side. Gazing at the billowing smoke, the captain ordered an immediate evacuation. Lisa faced a dilemma with the weakened mother and daughter, while Kelly encountered a movie-worthy plot twist. The trapped man suddenly raised a gun and threatened them.
I'll kill you, I swear I'll kill you!
Facing the black muzzle and her teammates' desperate cries, Kelly made a shocking decision. Just as the four escaped, the entire building detonated like a giant bomb. The shockwave sent debris raining down outside. The captain stared at the ruins, now a fiery hellscape, his fists clenched so tightly his knuckles turned white. So was Kelly's choice right? David had a heinous money-making scheme. He specifically targeted black women for dates. After one specially mixed cocktail, he'd profit $60,000 by precisely harvesting one kidney, then leave $1,500 on the bedside table as hush money. This scheme was diabolically clever. When victims reported it, police often dismissed the claims as consensual organ transactions based on the women's skin color and the payment amount. Over 20 black women fell prey to this process. But this time, the little white rabbit he targeted turned out to be a panther. On their first meeting, David pulled out all the stop sweet talk, feigned clumsiness. He accidentally knocked over a glass, distracting Grace. The moment she turned to grab a napkin, David swiftly slipped a pill into her glass. As she tilted her head back to drink, he was already calculating how to spend the $60,000. When he tried to take Grace to the hotel, she suddenly asked to use the restroom. Suspicious, Mike followed her to the door and overheard her calling 911. Enraged, he kicked the door open, intent on teaching her a lesson. But David suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed to the floor. It turned out Grace had swiftly swapped the drinks while handing him tissues. The arrogant David never noticed he'd downed the laced beverage. What crushed him further was discovering the girl was a 911 operator. Earlier, she'd received a call from a black man falsely accused of illegal kidney trafficking due to racial bias. Enraged, she'd become the bait, finally reeling in this organ trafficking ringleader. With Mike's arrest, the entire criminal syndicate targeting the black community was uprooted. Girls, remember, a drink you've handed over is like an expired lover. No matter how tempting, it's best not to take a sip. The emergency center received a call. Charlie lay collapsed on the ground, moaning in agony. His father frantically explained he'd fallen from a tree. Initial checks showed normal vital signs.
Did he break a rib?
We're not sure. We have to get x-rays. I'm gonna grab the stretcher.
Yet Charlie remained in obvious distress. Sylvie keenly spotted the invitation card on the floor. It turned out Charlie had climbed the tree to ask his crush to the graduation party.
Sacrificing your body for love is pretty darn chivalrous.
I'm sure once Heather hears about it, she'll...
Sylvie's reassurance instantly eased half his pain, but just as Eno dispersed the crowd, Charlie's heart rate plummeted. Sylvie tried to stabilize his head, but Charlie violently ripped off his neck brace. A gush of blood spurted out, stunning everyone.
GI bleed. We gotta go.
Paramedics rushed him into the ambulance. The Sylvie duo raced against death, finally stabilizing Charlie's vital signs. A week later, Sylvie happened to pass by the hospital and encountered Charlie's dream girl. Thoughtfully, she guided her to Charlie's bedside. Charlie perked up instantly. Sylvie turned away, listening to their cheerful laughter, a warm smile spreading across her face.
They're saying full recovery in time for Saturday.
Ryan Callahan already asked me to homecoming.
Turns out the bystander from that night had uploaded the video online, racking up over 1 million views. But her real motive? Snagging a photo op to ride the wave of fame. If you were Charlie, what would you do? Early one morning, the fire department got a wild call. A guy had been stuck in a doggy door all night. Turns out this hero snuck out for a bender, then tried to pull off a decade-old trick to sneak back in without waking his wife. Firefighters arrived, dismantling the plastic door panel while stifling laughter. His wife delivered the final blow. Now you're twice the weight you were 10 years ago. The man's shoulders and arms were firmly wedged. Even removing the door panel proved futile. His wife kept firing zingers. When two burly firefighters couldn't budge him, the crew resorted to cutting the door with a chainsaw. At that moment, his wife exploded, "Drink again, and you're never coming back." The man confided to the firefighters, "She never mentioned wanting kids. I thought we were child-free." When the firefighters cut through the door to rescue him, they discovered blood seeping from a deep wound on his chest. The culprit? The bottle opener he tucked in his pocket had pierced his chest as he was crawling through the hole. Seeing the wound, the wife's eyes suddenly welled up. "I should have given you a chance to quit drinking. Then maybe we'd have had children long ago." But on the way back, the firefighter fell into deep thought. How many marriages try to use children as band-aids? What truly sustains a relationship is never a new life, but two old souls understanding and compromising with each other. At 2 a.m., Tony pushed his wife into the fire station. Strangely, she was upside down. Firefighters rushed forward. "Quick, put her down. That position is too dangerous." But Tony immediately stopped them. "She'll die if she's not upside down," his wife weakly added. "It's true. I've died several times already." The captain keenly caught the word "already" and immediately summoned the medic. Bizarrely, the woman who had been upside down for an hour had completely normal heart rate and blood pressure. The medic frowned deeply. "What exactly were you two doing?" Tony stammered out the truth. "Late one night while gaming, his wife suddenly fainted and went into cardiac arrest." In panic, Tony dragged her to the floor to perform CPR. While moving her, he accidentally let her head drop downward and she woke up. When she tried to sit up, she instantly lost consciousness again. Tony, thinking on his feet, grabbed her legs and gave her a sharp tug, reviving her once more. The medical team was stunned. They decided to test it themselves. As soon as they laid the stretcher flat, the woman's heart stopped. When they flipped her back upside down, she instantly restarted. All the firefighters were dumbfounded, unsure what to do. Then the woman suddenly wondered, "Could it be my pacemaker malfunctioning?" The medic slapped his thigh. "Why didn't you say so sooner?" Examination confirmed it. Late-night exercise had shifted the pacemaker's wiring, allowing normal circuit connection only when inverted. Now they needed to transport her to the hospital, but neither ambulance nor fire truck could accommodate this upside-down patient. In the end, they had no choice but to do this. This morning, the fire station welcomed a heavyweight visitor, a 500-pound Bengal tiger. All firefighters were utterly speechless. Rewind 1 hour. The emergency center received a report of Ruth being mauled by her pet. When paramedics arrived, Ruth was covered in blood yet still murmuring "Show me." After basic bandaging, paramedics searched the house for the cat. They discovered a pile of raw meat in the kitchen and a chain thick as an arm tethered in the backyard. This pet was no ordinary animal. Under questioning, Ruth finally confessed. Her Xiaomi was a tigress, starved because Ruth delayed buying meat. The enraged big cat attacked its owner and broke free from its cage. Paramedics immediately reported the situation. As she was loaded into the ambulance, Ruth pleaded for mercy for her beloved pet. "Don't hurt my baby, she just skipped breakfast." Her words faded as she slipped into unconsciousness. During transport, the ambulance unexpectedly crossed paths with the escaped tiger. More eerily, the beast seemed to sense danger and turned toward the fire station. Watching the orange colossus advance step by step, the firefighters collectively froze in terror. In the critical moment, a quick-thinking team member raised a stake and shouted, "Dinner's ready!" A perfect parabolic throw lured the big cat to an open area. While the tiger feasted, everyone rushed indoors, sated and leisurely licking its paws, instantly turned the scene into a massive cat cuddling session. When the fire station received the school bus accident call, They assumed it was just a routine rear-end collision until they saw the wrecked bus and heard the boys' agonized cries inside. One boy was relatively fortunate. His neck trapped only by a mangled seat, but another boy had a steel pipe piercing his shoulder. His collarbone already fractured. As the rescue team scrambled, the boy's agonized screams nearly shook the roof off.
You need to slide this thing backward to get him out. Let's go.
Paramedics patiently calmed him down. After much struggle, this boy was safely extracted. With the final section of steel pipe precisely severed, they finally pulled the other boy back from the jaws of death. In this overtime battle against the Grim Reaper, they emerged victorious.